Okay, so you kind of thinking about, hey, I'm seeing all these ads or all these advertisements about companies trying to buy houses for cash, and maybe you kind of thinking to yourself, if someone would buy my house for cash, what would it be worth, right? Um, but to be honest with you, it's going to be kind of hard to, since there's so many people watching this video, might be from other states or different markets. It's going to be hard to kind of put a specific price. But hopefully in this video, I want to talk about some things that might kind of help you determine if this is something for you versus, selling your property to a direct home buyer or an investor, or maybe listing your property with the traditional way with an agent. So the very first concept is selling your property on market or off market. So if you're going to be selling your property on the market, that's normally the traditional way. So you're going to be listing the property with an agent. They're going to ask you to do a few repairs here and there, make it look presentable. And then they're going to schedule a time for buyers to come out to your property to hopefully buy your property. Morning. And normally when these houses are sold on the market, it's going to be sold similar prices as the other your neighbors' houses around the area, and that's called market price. So it's going to be on market. So if you don't sell and the other way of selling your property is selling it off market. Now, what does that mean? Off market literally just means you're not going to be listing your property. You're going to be selling your property directly to a home buyer. And typically, since this is off market, you're going to be selling the property a little bit below market price. And the advantage there is that you don't have to deal with agents. You don't have to pay any commissions, and most of the time you don't have to do any repairs. So that's the advantage of selling it on market or off market. If you sell it on market, you get more money. Of course, more money, you have to do more repairs. Your house has to look good. If you don't want to do all that, you can sell your property as is off market. Easy peasy. So typically the type of buyers that you're gonna find on the market are gonna be somebody that wants to live in the property and raise a family that likes the area and wants to live there. And when you're selling your property off market, you're typically gonna find investors and companies that buy properties to put money into it, to fix it up, renovate it, and then to keep it as a rental or to relist it back on the market. One of the biggest differences when you sell your property on market is that typically the buyer would have to do would get financing, and they would have to go to the bank, get conventional loan, get approved, pre-approved, yada yada yada. But when you sell your property off market, you skip all that because when you sell directly to a home buyer like us, they typically don't need financing. It's going to be a cash sale. Since it's a private sale, they're not going to need any bank involvement. And this is sometimes good for a lot of homeowners who don't want to, sorry, I'm walking across the street, who don't want to deal with waiting for the buyer to get financing, because you might be in a situation where maybe you're leaving out of the States or something and you need to sell your property within 30 days. Typically when a buyer has to get financing, it's going to take weeks and months. They have to go through the process, get the loan approved, and then sometimes what happens is, what if they don't get approved and you just waste all that time? So that's one of the advantages when you sell your property off market to a direct home buyer. Now, if you sell your property on the market, of course you're going to have to do some repairs, unless you're going to list it as is. But normally when people go to the trouble of listing their property and have them pay commissions and closing costs and all that, you want to get the most money as you can, right? That's normal. And in order to do that, you would have to do at least some minor repairs to the property. Maybe you need to get the property cleaned up, maybe paint, carpet, new roof, and just things like that to kind of help you get the most money as you can when you list your property on the market. Now, on the flip side is, let's say you sell your property off market to a company like us. A lot of investors would buy the property as is because they know that they're going to go in and do the repairs anyway. So the more repairs it needs, the better. And that can be an advantage for you, is because you can save a lot of money. I mean, imagine spending $1,000 here, a couple thousand there, and having to do the repairs yourself takes time. You got to deal with contractors, finding people to do the repairs. And I mean, if you have the time and the resources, we would totally recommend you list the property. I mean, you can get more money for your property. But if you're in a situation where you just don't have time to do that, then selling your property directly to a home buyer off market will probably be a good alternative for you. And when you list your property with an agent, of course, you got to pay agent commissions, you got to pay closing costs, and you can imagine, and typically in Georgia, the listing agent might get 3%, buyer's agent might get like 3%, so that's already 6% right there. And closing costs about 2%. So as you can see, the fees start adding up. And when you sell your property off market, typically the investor will be buying the home directly from you, so there's no agent. So you save money on the agent side, and as well as the closing costs. You can get the investor to pay for the closing costs. So whatever number you agree on is the number that you're gonna get at closing. So to sum that all up, selling on the market, you're gonna get more money, but it's gonna cost you money and time. Selling it off market, it's gonna be quick, but you're gonna get less money. Right, so there you have it. It's a little short video, but how much money or how much cash can you get for your house? Well, it just depends on the property condition. You know, what type of work does it need? Number two, is the property occupied or is it vacant? Do you have tenants in there? Number three, how quickly do you want to sell? You want to close in 30 days, you want to close in 2 weeks, or you want to close next week? Depends on you, your situation. And lastly, it depends on how much money and time do you want to invest in your house to sell it. These are the four kind of criterias, or whatever you want to call it, that will kind of affect how much you can get for your house. Now, if you're kind of liking the idea of selling your property directly to a home buyer like us, like SureClosing, and you don't want to deal with any repairs or closing costs or agent commissions, next question that we get often is, you know, why should I sell my house to a cash buyer like you guys at SureClosing? Great question. The reason why you would want to do that is maybe you're in a situation where you just need to sell the property as quickly as possible, and you don't want to deal with that headache of finding the right agent, listing the property, or actually before you even list it, you gotta fix it up, list it, pay a commission and the closing costs. And all the while, you might have like 10 showings, and it might take you 3-4 months to sell the property. You know, it's just, no one can guarantee you how fast you can sell your house when it's listed on the market. And if you're selling your property to us, a company, if you decide to sell your property to a cash buyer like SureClosing, you don't have to do any repairs. There's no closing costs. There's no agents involved, and you get to pick a closing date. Because how that works is, since we can pay cash, we're not dependent on the bank to get any financing. Then there's a number below, or there's a web form below, sign up, and one of my teammates was gonna be get in touch with you and kind of provide you all your options and some more information to see if this is something that you would like to do. There's no obligation or nothing like that. You can tell us, hey, it works, or hey, no, it doesn't work. And either way, it's fine with us, and our job is to help you sell your property. Thanks for listening.